Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Here with me I have another successful student and I want to share with you his story, how he's been able to close a couple of dealerships and how he was able to get them amazing results. I believe they sold over 10 cars. And yeah, we're gonna start with them. And he's so inspiring, guys. I love him. He's such a great energy. I love this person. He's gonna share his stories and it's just amazing, guys. So can you, Chris, introduce yourself and tell me where you at right now, where you were before, and just share about yourself.
Absolutely, thank you, Alex. Yes, so my name is Cristobal. I'm originally from Mexico, so I moved to Seattle area 15 years ago, and so a little bit of the story. So when I moved here, like my first job was in the restaurant business. So I liked it. I worked in the restaurant business for about 8 years. I was making good money. One day ended up buying a car at a car dealership. And when I'm doing the deal, they offered me a job. They're like, hey, would you like to work here? And I'm like, doing what? And he's like, we need a Hispanic salesman, and we would like to, teach you to sell cars. And even though, for me at the time, I was like, man, I'm not sure if I don't want to sell cars, right? And so I decided to give it a go because it was going to be something different, right? And then also they're going to pay me to teach me. So I was like, yeah, why not? It was a good move at the time because that was how I ended up getting into marketing.
Let me stop for a second. Let me rewind. So what year was it? So so the audience can get an idea, because I think it's super important. Like, it's so inspiring, you guys. I'm telling you.
It's good. Yeah. So that was in 2008. So it was funny. 2008. A lot of people was just when the recession started. So a lot of people were losing homes. I think that was the year that I made the most money because a lot of people were moving from California, Las Vegas, losing their home. They were moving to Washington because the pay was higher in the area and the rent was lower. Now it's up there, but it was a good move to move to Washington State in that year. And then I was the only Hispanic at the time, and that dealership was a Ford dealership. And all Hispanics, it's a cultural thing. We like to talk with other Hispanics when he talks about, buying a house or buying a car, because you feel like, you're dealing with money. You want to make sure you understand everything. Right. So all Hispanics were coming to me, all of them. Plus, I was able to sell, like to Americans. So I always was on the board at the top, top salesman. I was making a lot of money, and my job there, I was kind of like doing lead generation for the Hispanic department. So they have like Hispanic department, special finance type of thing, low credit, bad credit. We can get you approved with that. No social, that type of stuff. At the time, the only thing they were spending was Craigslist. And, that's the only channel that it was working at the time. It was kind of coming up, I remember. It was tedious. You could upload 4 pictures at a time, and you had to type everything by hand. But it was funny, Alex, how, I remember the owner, one thing, he's like, I want you to post every day the cars. And I mean, the lot had like 140 cars in the lot. I'm like, oh my God, you're killing me. But then he tells me something. It's this funny story that, happens. He's like, I'm going to get you 50 cents for every call you get out of Craigslist on top of your salary in your commission. I'm like, sure. So I remember I got a tracking number from a company called Call 8. Very weird. Like, we just got a number, forwarded to the dealership. And I remember the first month, this is when it clicked in my head. I was like, man, I can make a business out of this. Because I remember that the commission of calls, it was going to be 4,000 and some change, plus my 4,000 and salary, plus my commissions. And I remember
it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money back in the days.
Like, yes, I mean, this is 2009, 2008, and I'm like, and the owner's like, no, Chris, I cannot pay you that much. I know what I said, but I'm gonna give you 1,000 more a month, and then you keep doing what you're doing. And I saw an increase, at the time. It's like, I need you to get me more sales, and I'm like, how can I do that, right? And at the time, I didn't know this. I was gonna be doing an A/B testing without really knowing. So I reposted all the cars again on Craigslist with a different layover, a different phone number, to make it look like a different dealer.
All right.
And guess what happened? So the leads doubled. So I was like, man, I saw that, they were selling an average of 80 cars per month. And then they jumped to 130, 140 per month. So a huge increase in sales. So I'm like, hey, man, I think I need a little bit of money there because, you guys selling all the cars, it will be good. And I remember they were like, no, that's all you're going to get. Sorry. I mean, they didn't say really right there, they put your head together. They tell you, oh, yeah, we're going to work on that. Give me a few months and we'll get you that money, blah, blah, blah. That's when I started cooking the idea because I knew they were selling more cars. And I'm like, well, they're not really making it. I'm not making any more. And what's wrong with making more, right?
Right.
And so when I started, how everything started, the general sales manager of that store quit and he went to another store. Then he called me. He's like, Chris, can you do what are you doing at this dealership for this one? And I remember, well, I have a non-compete agreement. I'm not sure if I can, I'm going to get in trouble for that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, my wife does what I do, so I'm just going to have my wife do it from home, and I keep my job. So my wife was doing it, we were posting ads at Craigslist. That was how we started. And then that was my first customer through a referral. And this dealer heard about, Craigslist was hard. It was not really hard. I mean, as hard, but it was more like tedious. It was a tedious work. It required a lot of, typing and uploading and reposting and dealing with flagging, ghosting, and whatnot. So I started looking for help, and I heard about this site called Freelancer. And I remember I posted a job. I needed some help with some ads because it was kind of getting tedious. Now I had 2 customers on the side, and I had to do my posts on my dealer. And that's when I'm like, I'm charging $1,000 to each guy. I can just, maybe do 10 dealers. That's it. I mean, I don't need that many. And I decided to quit. I decided to quit from my job. I remember I was like, I'm just gonna focus on.
So what year was it? What year was it when you started quitting and decided that you saw that there's a potential in this business that you can actually work with multiple dealers and close them and do posting for them? So was it year to
Yes, this was 2012. So it's fairly quick. After I started in 2008. So 5 years later, I start seeing that there's a potential of doing marketing for dealers. So, and it was only Craigslist, really. That was the only thing that it was working at the time. And magazines. So that was the other thing. So magazines and Craigslist. That was it. So yeah, I decided to, jump and give a leap of faith, saying that this is gonna work. And man, it was like the first 4 or 5 months, I think they were really bad. So because I remember I had bought a truck at the time. I had moved from an apartment to a house finally. And now I have more expenses coming in, right? But I'm thinking, I just need 5 dealers and that will cover my costs, and then I just continue to grow it. I ended up having actually 8 dealers right off the bat because they were all interested in having it. But this is something I had to deal with. It was just like, they pay you late. They do. And then I remember I would go after the end of the month, drop off the invoice, and then the secretary would say, oh, come back next week. We'll have a check for you. You go next week. And, we don't have the check yet. Come back next week. So little by little, and I remember I was like, no, this is not what I wanted. It's now I have expenses. I have no income coming in. I think I'm gonna go back to the dealer and say I got my job back. I almost did it, and even though I have 8 accounts, some dealers started to pay me, but it was more gradually, and I didn't like that. So it was just kind of in between. Lucky enough for me, there was this other company who was taking pictures for the dealers, so they had a huge wallet of customers. And they knew me because when I was working in the dealer, the owner will go there. The owner of that company will go there to take pictures. And we will talk about UFC fights. I remember. It was we had something in common. And so one day he's like, Chris, I want to do Craigslist ads. I want to see if we can work together, and I'll give you access to all my accounts, and we work on a commission base.
So wait, so for you I can imagine what kind of opportunity it was for you, because you had the guy that had all these dealers in the area, right? They were taking pictures for them. And then you're the guy who knew how to get results for them with posting on Craigslist. and at the time
Mm-hmm.
you had a few clients, and then
Yep.
the magazine, that company, that had a bunch of different clients, and then whenever you have a meeting with him, he's like, hey, I have opportunity for you.
Yep.
And I can
Yeah.
just imagine the
It
happiness.
was incredible, Alex. I couldn't believe. I actually, that's what I think. It was. He called me, and he's from Spain, a nice guy, and then he's like, Chris, let's have a Starbucks. Come over to my, by his office, and let's sit down and talk. So I went over, and he's like, yeah, Chris, I'm trying to do Craigslist ads, but they're getting ghosted, they're getting, flagged, and I'm really not sure how you're doing it. If you want to work, I can just subcontract you and give you all these, dealers. And I was like, yes. He asked me,
Wow.
can you take on this many dealers? I remember at first he gave me 20 dealers right off the bat.
20 dealers. I just want to emphasize how many dealers it is and a lot of work.
Yes. So now, and he's like, can you do it? And I'm like, yes, I can. Now I have a little bit of a problem. Now I have a guy who was helping me, from Bangladesh, posting the ads for me, and he will remote into my computers.
So how did you find the guy? Did you use freelance or?
Yes. I think it's important. When I was doing the first 8 dealers on my own, it was getting tedious. It was repetitive. So I was trying to find help for me and my wife, because it was my wife and I doing on the computers. First thing in the morning, 7 in the morning, go to the website, copy and paste cars one by one. I found this guy on Freelancer. I posted a job and said, hey, I need some help doing Craigslist. And then, of course, you get 100, applications saying, excuse me, we'll do it. We're great. And I almost hired a guy, I remember, from the Philippines. He was going to charge me like $300 a month per account to do that. So I'm like, yeah, that works. But then I went to have lunch. I came back, and there was this guy, from Bangladesh. He had no reviews, no nothing. And, it's sometimes it's funny, there's people who really wants a job and really wants to succeed. And I'm like, he comes to me. He's like, Chris, I need a job, and I'll charge you $100 per account. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. And I was a little bit hesitant because he had no reviews, no earnings yet, no nothing. But I'm like, yeah, I get to keep 200 more in my pocket. Why not? So I ended up hiring him. And it was simple, it was just copy and paste. It wasn't rocket science. And now I get to this, this company has all these dealerships and wants to, offer that service, and me do the work. So he gives me 20 dealers, and I go to this guy like, dude, we need to find more people. And he's like, problem solved. I have 18 guys that are ready to work. And I'm like, oh wow, thank you. So literally what I had to do is just buy more computers, because what we had to do at the time, Craigslist, was either blocking you by IP address, or maybe just uploading the images from the same email account. So we had to come up with a different idea. We had to create a whole bunch of email accounts, different IP addresses. So we always find a way. And the amount that I was getting from this big company, so the agreement was, because they own the deal, they had the dealer already, they had the relationship, they already billed them for a service. So they're like, we're gonna give you 35%, even though I was gonna do the work, but then they keep the rest of it. I did the math, and I'm like, man, there's still a lot of good money, and
so
I'm really not really doing
it. So I want to get the numbers so people can understand how much money it was back in the days, actually. So it was 35%. So how much was it per one account for you, per one dealer, in regards of dollars?
Good question, Alex. So I remember the price point for most of the dealers. It was 100. We will post 100 cars per day, every day, for $1,000 a month.
Wow.
So and that was the average ticket. Some dealers will have 200 cars, right? But they will only post I want you to post 100 today and the other 200 tomorrow. Right. And then, so it was the base point. It was almost, I would say most dealers, or 90% of the accounts that I got, they were getting charged $1,000 a month. And so I was doing 350, really on the back end. But then, he gave me 20 dealers from one day to another. Wow. Man, I went back home and I was like, man, this is great, because do the math. 20 accounts,
Yeah.
35%, that's $7,000.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
And and this is, I just realized one thing, that how, like, sometimes you get this type of opportunities when you know one person, and they do, like, they give you 80% of your income, or like give you the potential that you can capitalize on. And the same,
correct.
so like, if you find in the same in any industry, if you know someone who either, actually, I remember I found a guy, he was installing a cameras, like security cameras on dealerships and others and
Uh-huh.
other businesses. And I remember I was in dealership, and he was installing, and we started talking, and he's like, so what do you do? I explained that I do digital marketing for dealerships. He's like, I know, man, I know a lot of dealerships in area in other cities. We have a company and we install security for them. So we can
Mm-hmm.
partner up and, split
Yeah.
50-50. You give me
Yep.
some dealers or referrals, you refer to me. And this is
Yeah.
super important. You can, guys, just find one
Right.
person who will give you like 80% of referrals and your income for your agency. This is super important to, like, it's hard to find this person, but if you find it, then you can build up your portfolio and get a lot of clients. But yeah, go ahead.
Correct, correct. You're Alex. You're absolutely correct. And it's one of those opportunities that like it's like, I guess, luck. It's a combine of when you're prepared to do something, and just the opportunity presents itself and you take it. And I did. I did great, man. I think we were end up getting, man. I think it was like 47 dealers per month. That was the lowest. And then we ended up getting, like, we were doing 68, 69 dealers per month.
68 dealers.
Uh-huh.
And
It was,
wow.
it was crazy because literally now do the math. So let's just go with a medium and say 50 dealers per month. That was 50,000. At 35%, it was 17,500 that I was making per month. And literally, I was just hiring people over, in Bangladesh, and I was keeping from most of it. They were super happy. I think I was paying them 2,000 a month. It was for them.
For them,
Man, I can't imagine.
They probably they could buy a villa there, just hang out.
Yeah, I think I remember the guy. We used to talk, and he's like super happy. They had a house. I remember they rented a house in Dhaka. That was the city, and they would chat, on this Skype, and it was fun because they had like a lab of like computers there, and then I also on my living room I had a whole bunch of computers because that's how we were doing it. So that's when I was riding the gravy train, literally. I was just making money and just coming up with new ideas for Craigslist. Change the text, change this, change that, and I made a mistake. Hopefully, this is like a tip for everyone. Always try to improve and see what's out there or what's new, because I made a mistake of thinking that Craigslist was gonna last forever. So I'm having a system that just keep paying me money, and then just like every day it's working just great. I don't have to work as hard as before. So I started doing a lot of traveling, right? And because I'm thinking this is just I hit the jackpot. I don't have to worry about anything else. And then I remember my wife was like, let's just open a mocha stand, where they're very popular here in Seattle, when you drive up to a coffee. I'm like, why would you do that? I'm like, we're making money digitally. Forget about that. And so, unfortunately, I think with 2 years, 8 months into the business, Craigslist was always blocking you either by your images for something. So it was always like a battle against them to repost and repost. And I thought that was going to be always forever. We'll always find a way. You always try to block us, we'll find a way. Never crossed my mind that we're going to start charging per post. So one day, I just wake up and the guy over in Bangladesh is like, Chris, we're screwed. They're going to start charging $5 per car. And I'm like, no, there's no way. And I go online and yep, they're going to start charging $5 per post. So that right there put me in a situation like, that's my job. So if this is the math, so now the dealers that were posting 100 cars per day, if they wanted to do the same thing, now it's going to be $500 per day in ads on Craigslist. And now they don't expire in 7 days. They're going to expire in 30 days. So there does not make sense for them to keep posting every day anymore. On top of that, they don't have to deal with ghosting or flagging or none of that shit because now they are paying for the ad. The ad stays live no matter what. So, and just like that, all the dealers were gone. Poof, kapoof.
So you lost everything, right?
Everything, yes.
Wow.
And so, and this is something else, even though when everything finished, I remember the company said, oh, we cannot offer this service anymore to dealers because they don't want to pay that much. Obviously, if you want to work with us, we can give you a route for taking pictures. And I'm like, no, man, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's just kind of those things like maybe I can figure out another way. And so I decided not to go with them. I kept solo, and I tried different things for a year. I tried to find out how to automate Craigslist, even though it was not paid. Still, how to make it easier. I remember I spent $5,000 on a software that didn't work because Craigslist made another update. So the software that didn't spend now is not working. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do Craigslist anymore. I'm just gonna move on and start fresh. My wife at the time, decided to start a cleaning company. And I remember, no, I'm like, are you crazy? Cleaning? No way. But she's like, no, let's just give it a shot. There's really nothing going on. We have no other source of income. So really, we had nothing to do. So that's another story. It was funny, because I made it a website and I started posting on Craigslist. I literally repeated the same thing I was doing for the car dealers for my new cleaning business. And lucky me, the service section was still free. Now you pay again. But then still at the time, the only pay section was the job section, the therapeutic section, and the car section. But the service section was still free. And I'm like, I'm just gonna post a whole bunch of stuff and then dominate my area. I did that, and we grew the company fairly quick. We with zero experience, zero capital. 12 months later, we had 12 employees and do a whole bunch of stuff. That's when I was focusing. I started doing more marketing for my company. So doing a little bit of so I was doing only Craigslist. I started doing Yelp ads. I started doing a little bit of pay-per-click. Just ways to find my some more leads for my company. And luckily enough, I started learning on my own, different things that I put it all together. Email marketing, pay-per-click marketing, referrals. And the last thing I wanted to learn was Facebook ads. And so I had tried it before. Actually, I had tried it when I had a restaurant. So a little bit of story also, this is another thing. So after we were successful with a cleaning company, we grew it fairly quick. It's my wife's company, right? So it's her company. I still want to do my own thing. And a friend of mine was found a restaurant that was getting, sold at the time. And because I had a background in the restaurant business, I'm like, maybe it's my dream, but this is my dream job. I'll be a restaurant owner. So my buddy and I decided to get together and we bought the restaurant. And we operated the restaurant for a year and 8 months, and I quit. That's the hardest of the three businesses I had so far, the marketing business, the cleaning business, and the restaurant. Restaurant is the hardest by far. It's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving pieces. Stressful. You have no social life at all. And then you still, I was trying to dedicate myself to it, but after a year and 8 months, I'm like, this is never gonna scale to what I want to scale. Or if it does, it's gonna take too long that I'm not willing to invest anymore. So let's just move on. Get back to the cleaning business. It's making money. Let's just move on. I'm gonna find out how to do Facebook ads because that's the new thing.
So let's rewind now to like 2017, 18. Like how you get into how did you get into back into car stuff and all this?
Yes, correct. So after I sold the restaurant, now I have the cleaning company, and now actually I have more. I think tools to my disposal. I know a little bit of marketing, a little bit of email marketing. So I'm like, man, I wonder if I can go back to the car business. And I'm like, I started to entertain the idea. Kind of just was just there in my head. I wanted to do generating leads for my cleaning company, so I bought a course for Facebook ads, and you know, it was for flotation spas and chiropractors. And I figured out maybe I can learn, whatever they're doing, and then just adapt it to my industry. I know it didn't work. I was still actually I was more confused, but while being part of that group, I remember they made an interview of you, Alex, and the topic was, how to dominate the car sales niche or the car dealership niche. And I remember like, oh, perfect. This is something I want to see. I saw your webinar. I watched the webinar, and I bought the course right on the spot because I just saw that. Well, number one, the car dealership niche is a great niche. It's a very profitable niche, and if you do the job, they'll hire you for a long, long time. And so I bought the course right on the spot, man. And in January, past January, I'm like, you know what? This is the year that I'm gonna go after dealers. This is the year that I want to go back to what I was doing, and I can do it. Rewatch everything, your course, and so I went over. With what you teach, it's more like the mindset. That's something that is like if you hesitate a lot, that's really no. Don't let that happen.
Yeah.
If you're ready or that have feeling of like it's gonna work, just do it. Yeah. So I did that. I went over to the dealers and say, hey, I'm doing Facebook ads. They were like, oh, really? Okay, perfect. How this works. I kind of told them a little bit of how what was the strategy behind it, and they're like, yeah, we would like to give it a shot. Why not? So right after taking the course, I got 2 customers. The first one was for $1,000 a month, and the other one for $750 a month. That was a trial, mostly. He was really like into like, let me see how it goes, and then we can talk about.
That's actually I see a lot of people because if you don't have trust, like especially if you're just walking in, you just brand like they never saw you before, especially if you walk into the dealers, it's hard to sell them right away without any trust. So that's why a lot of people rather try you out for 1 month or maybe 2 months, see if you can get them results. And actually the thing is, what the strategies I teach right in the course, that you're able to get them results, so they keep paying you every month right after that.
Exactly, and so yeah, that's one of the things that if you follow Alex's steps, I think you can, it's trackable. That's number one. That's what they like. They want to see where their money is going and how much money they're making. So one of my dealers, he was super happy. I got him. I started him on February, I think February 7 or 11, something like that. It was the first weeks of February, and by the end of the month, I had got him, I think it was 18 leads out of that, and out of those 18 leads, he had sold 15 units, and so he's super happy because.
So I think the part of your success was because you got him really qualified leads. Because a lot of stuff, like sometimes whenever we generate leads, like in hundreds, but they sell only like 5 or 10, and they. Correct. But this is super important to get them like really hyper targeting, like qualified leads that actually market and ready to buy.
Exactly. Yeah. You hit that perfectly, Alex. Because yes, I remember. He told me, this customer, he's like, well, yeah, I had another thing, another company, marketing agency that was doing ads for me, and they got me a whole bunch of leads, but they were bad. And so I think they got like 80-something leads. I actually thought like, man, now you put like goals for me, like, geez, now I had to surpass that, right? But no, even though I got them less, they were higher quality. Yeah. And he liked that. He's like, I don't care about garbage. I mean, if you give me 5 good leads, but then I sell them, I'll be happy as a clam, and that's what it comes to be. So if you drive results that they can see, you can track, and you show them at the end of the month. Okay, this is what I did, and this is the leads that I got you, and now these are the actual customers who bought from you. They're happy, and they'll cut you a check for the next month, and just rinse and repeat. So yeah, if I kind of went over to my story. It's kind of like all over the place, right? But it just kind of shows you if you really set your mind into something, you can really do it. It took me a month to go over Alex's course, even though I had it before. In January, I just sat myself and like I'm just gonna watch everything, take my notes, start making a plan for it, and then execute it. And then yeah, so
And actually, yeah, and let me also like get people an idea that how old are you right now at the time?
I'm 38.
So yeah, guys, this is the insane part. He's 38. You have two kids, one kid.
3 kids now.
You have 3 kids.
Yeah, I have 3 kids.
You have 3 kids.
I
You have
running
wife.
company.
Yeah, and you have running company and getting after dealers. And when someone when I see when someone says like I don't have time, I work 9 to 5, I don't have time to do that. Like guys, like it doesn't matter how old are you, even if you're 15, 16, or if you're 55, 60, 65.
Doesn't matter.
As long as you have right mindset in place and you're really hungry and you want to succeed and get out of your 9 to 5 or just living your life on your own terms, this is like real example that you can make it happen as long as you put work on it. And in the course it's like step by step like strategies and like how to do that. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just follow the steps in the course and you can make it happen.
I wanna actually mention this is something that I saw that it was new on the course. It was a 60-day challenge, and you have this layout of what to do on a daily basis. That's exactly what you guys need to do. And if you stick to that plan, that plan is gold because it really tells you you need to do this every day and every day only. And if you dedicate at least 1 or 2 hours a day,
exactly,
you will get customers. You will get customers. So yeah, it comes down to you really want it, and then if you really want it, you just dedicate 2 hours of your time to that, and eventually you start seeing results. Don't get desperate, as experience, it happens. Entrepreneurship, it's a roller coaster. So if they turn you out, no, for me, even though I have experience in the car business, I know the talk, so that helps me a lot when I'm talking to the managers. It's still hard, they still tell you, we're not interested this month, come back next month. So it's a game that you have to constantly, to try with them, go back again. Eventually you start, like if you get your foot one time, do a good job and they'll keep you forever. So don't feel disheartened and then by saying, no, we don't want to hear from you. Or you're gonna get a lot of other one is we already have someone that does that for us. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Keep trying and don't get discouraged. This program really, I think, is worth more than Alex is charging. Really, because it can change your life. It really can change your future. And it's just a matter of dedicate yourself. That's it. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Okay. Last question I was going to ask. So, who would you recommend it to? Who would you recommend this program to? And who do you?
That's a great question, and I think it's for everyone, Alex. I really believe, you lay it out in a simple, basic way that anybody with no experience at all can follow the steps. I wish there was these courses back in the day so I can actually learn more because before it was more than trial and error. Like it's just like throwing money and see what was working, what's not. But there wasn't really no layout to follow, a blueprint to follow. Now with this, literally you have the blueprint and say, okay, this is it. This is how you get results. You just go and do it. So yeah, this is for everyone. Like me, I'm a parent. Have a busy life. On top of that, my oldest son has autism, so we have to take him to therapy. So that's a little bit of takes time to take him to therapies and whatnot, right? But even though you still find this time to do it. So yeah, there's no excuse, man. It's really everybody can do it. Doesn't matter the age or where you come from. Really, it's just a matter of executing.
Wow, Chris, this is your story. You're such an inspiration. You're such inspiration. You have a kid with autism. I hope he's gonna get better with the therapist and like entire your life. That as you can guys see, like it's always gonna be ups and downs. Never gonna be easy. And you just have to go through this and get to where you want to be. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chris. Last question: where can people find you? Where can people learn about you more and get some of your tips and ideas?
Awesome. So yeah, after watching Alex is my inspiration. So I saw that you started documenting all his journey. So this is what you'll find the link on the description below to my YouTube channel. I'll start documenting all my successes and failures, and and just kind of show the people that it can be done, and help each other. There's a lot of business out there that are just waiting, for someone like you guys to go and help them. That's what it's all about, and so yeah, you guys can try. And this is another thing I want to actually tell you guys. For so long, I hesitated to make a YouTube channel. After talking to Alex, so you know what, I'm gonna do it. It's perfect. It documents everything. It creates value for other people, and then you grow together. It's awesome. So definitely you look for my YouTube channel, and then you start some really cool content in there.
Exactly, guys. I'm gonna attach his link down the video, so make sure to follow him for new tips and see how he's gonna grow his business with the dealership and also his cleaning business. So it's amazing content, so you can see and learn from him too. And yeah, I think that's it what we wanted to cover today, Chris. Thank you.
It was awesome, Alex. Yeah. I'm super glad that I met you guys. It was like so random, really. Like, I was how I found you in a webinar. I saw your course, and I'm like, man, where were you before? Bought it on the spot, and now I'm using it. It's really that easy.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
All right,
Chris.
guys.
I'm gonna be seeing you later.
Alex, thank you so much, my friend. Have a good day.
You too.